If the book that we think should win the Hugos this year does not win, I will eat a hat on this show. Like, really, I'll do it.
We'll have to figure out what kind of hat you can ingest.
It's gonna win. It's gonna win. It's the best book.
Okay.
If it doesn't win, I'm gonna eat a hat.
Hello, everybody. I'm Cody Troyer.
And I'm Brent Gaisfer.
And we are the Hugonauts. This time, we are talking about the 2025 Hugo Awards, which are the 2024 Hugos. It's about, but I always forget.
Well, they haven't happened yet, so we're going to predict the winner. But it's for books that came out last year.
Right, but do they call it the 2025 Hugos?
They call it the 2025
books from
Hugos.
2024?
No, they call it the 2025
That's
Hugos.
what I'm confused. Okay, great. So we're going to talk about those. We're going to give our ranks and decide who we think should be the winner of the Hugo Award for Best Novel this year. And then we're going to give you a couple of other books that we read that came out in 2024 that we loved.
For sure, so you know what to read from last year. And next time, we're going to tell you more about what to read. Surprise. We're going to talk about the Culture series by Ian M. Banks. Which will be
yes. Really fun. I made Brent do Culture next. I was like, okay, we could do the Hugos, but we have to do Culture after that.
Yeah, it'll be fun. How many have you read now? What's your body count? What's your Culture count?
A 6.
Okay, cool.
I'll
tell your wife later on. Okay. This episode is sponsored by Doppelgänger, an orphan, a prodigy, and a murderer by Chip Walter. What if the world's most advanced AI was you?
A computer scientist awakens in a robotic body next to his own murdered corpse. He is the Doppelgänger. This novel is a cerebral, high-stakes thriller that grapples with the power of artificial intelligence, personal betrayal, and twists that will keep you riveted to the last page. Michael Keaton calls it thought-provoking and fast-paced. If you liked Altered Carbon, Blind Sight, or Neuromancer, meet your next obsession.
You can learn more about Doppelgänger at chipwalter.com.
All right. Should we get into the list? Should we do the list?
Yeah, so
what do you think?
What do you think was the 6th best Hugo-nominated book this year?
We just saw this one, so we won't spend too much time on it. It was A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher, which is 11 hours on audiobook or 352 pages. That was on the Nebulas list, our last episode. So the quick summary is that Cordelia knows her mother is unusual. Their house doesn't have any doors between rooms, and her mother doesn't allow Cordelia to have a single friend, unless you count Falada, her mother's beautiful white horse. The only time Cordelia feels truly free is on her daily rides with him, but more than simple eccentricity sets her mother apart. Other mothers don't force their daughters to be silent and motionless for hours, sometimes days on end. Other mothers aren't sorcerers. So that's the direct blurb. The story is a small fantasy reimagining of Grimm's fairy tale that really is about, different women's roles in a patriarchal society and like a kind of classic post-Middle Ages fantasy setting. So it was interesting in that way to me. I thought the characters were really well done and not the type of, characterization and archetypes that you see a lot in fiction in general and storytelling in general. So the characters were really good. I don't think that this book falls to 6th because it's bad. I would give it like a 3 out of 5. I enjoyed it still. I just think that the Hugos list
is a good year. Yeah,
better than the
bangers.
Nebulas list.
The Nebulas this year stunk, and the Hugos list is great. Yeah. Anyway.
So
it makes me. It's like been a few years where I was like, since the Nebula list or the Hugo list was really good, and I was kind of starting to be like, what's going on, voters? We're kind of losing the plot, and now I'm like, okay, great, we're back. This is definitely, like, in my eyes, the premier Sci-Fi Fantasy Award, like, of 2025. Assuming they pick the right winner, voters.
Right.
Here. We'll tell you what's good.
I don't know if it's. I mean, we also just did the book club for this, which unfortunately we're recording before, so we won't have time to ingest those comments. But go to our Discord if you want to get involved with that and chat about. We did 2 of the nominees from this year, Alien Clay and the Tainted Cup, and I think a lot of people felt the same way we did.
If the book that we think should win the Hugos this year does not win, I will eat a hat on this show. Like, really, I'll do it.
Okay.
It's gonna win. It's gonna win. It's the best book. Okay. If it doesn't win, I'm gonna eat a hat.
All right. Well, what's number 5? Let's get there fast.
Yeah, for sure. Number 5 is The Ministry of Time by Kaliane Bradley. It is 352 pages or 10 hours and 20 minutes on audiobook. Here's the little teaser. In the near future, a civil servant is offered the salary of her dreams and is, shortly afterward, told what project she'll be working on. A recently established government ministry is gathering expats from across history to establish whether time travel is feasible for the body, but also for the fabric of space-time. And so she is a bridge. Our main character, Kat, is assigned to look after this naval officer from the 1800s named Graham Gore. This book actually won the Goodreads Choice Award for Best Sci-Fi of 2024, which I think is sort of a testament to what the average reader is looking for these days, which is hot dudes. Because Graham Gore is super duper hot. He is a chain-smoking gentleman, fresh off the HMS Terror and Erebus Arctic expedition that was like ill-fated very famously. And there's a lot of interesting stuff about that in this. If you haven't read another book about that, I think you'll like those parts too. Although if you haven't read another book about that, go read The Terror by Dan Simmons.
Yeah,
which is so good. Anyway, it's a romance novel, really. It's the softest of soft sci-fis. The first few paragraphs literally are all about, like, is time travel possible? Oh, who cares? We'll have a cute time now. Like, the book says that.
Now, to be fair, and we just were chatting about this because we just both finished another excellent novel that we loved that was about time travel. We say this often on the show. Time travel, if it works for you, it works for you. Like, you like it or you don't. There aren't that many rules. I agree.
Yeah, in that book, not to be named until we do an episode about it. Yeah, 3/4 of the way through, I definitely went like, oh, well, this makes the time travel doesn't make any sense, but I still love it so much.
But yeah, exactly. So I don't think, if you like it, you like it. As far as I'm concerned, time travel wise, I don't think it has to the time travel really wasn't that scientific. Well, because it's never.
For sure. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I would say the romance is the best part of the book, and the stuff about the terror. At the end, they try to do a lot of stuff about the time travel, and it's the climax is all about like time loops as you would expect them to be, as they always are in sci-fi stories about time travel that maybe aren't so well done. And they explode in paradoxes and whatever. So yeah, anyway, it was solid. It's a great romance if you want to read about like sleeping with an 18th century gentleman. 19th century gentleman. Sorry. Anyway, yeah.
Might have to add one more to my body count.
All right. What is number 4?
Number 4 is another one, the one we thought should have won the Nebula Award and did win the Nebula Award, which is Someone You Could Build a Nest In by John Wiswell, which is 10 hours on audiobook or 322 pages. The short summary is Shisheshin is a shapeshifter who happily resides in an amorphous lump at the bottom of a ruined manor. When her rest is interrupted by hunters intent on murdering her, she constructs a body from the remains of past meals, a metal chain for a backbone, borrowed bones for limbs, and a bear trap as an extra mouth. And then a heartwarming story about otherness and finding togetherness in otherness and family trauma. Kind of goes from there in a classic fantasy setting of monsters, kind of reverse of like fantasy empire hunting monsters, only the monster is the main character and Shisheshin is the good guy. And it's a fun novel that I really enjoyed. So again, only falling to 4 because of the strength of this list. It was our favorite from the Nebulas. So
yeah, I'd really recommend it. It's a good book. Yeah, there's just a lot of good books this year. Which
takes us to number 3, Brent, which is one of 2 by Adrian Tchaikovsky.
Yeah, I think Adrian Tchaikovsky really wants to win a Hugo. He never has. And
he needs to. He should have. It's time.
Mm-hmm. But maybe not. We're not ranking for. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Adrian. So traditionally, you can choose to accept a nomination or not. And often if people are nominated for 2 books in the same year, first of all, crazy good on him that he can write 2 books in a year. It's nuts. But anyway, often you'll like sort of pull one back, and he didn't. And I think that's because he really wants to win, and he deserves one, and he should. But anyway, so Service Model is 384 pages, 12 hours and 20 minutes. Here's the little scoop. Humanity is a dying breed, utterly reliant on artificial labor and service. When a domesticated robot gets a nasty little idea downloaded into its core programming, they murder their owner. The robot discovers that they can also do something they never did before. They can run away. Fleeing the household, they enter a wider world they never knew existed, where the age-old hierarchy of humans at the top is disintegrating into ruins, and an entire robot ecosystem devoted to human well-being is having to find a new purpose.
So
go ahead.
You read this one. I didn't. It's a comedy, right? That's like the whole thing.
It is a comedy. Yeah. It's a I really loved the beginning. I was ready. The first like quarter of this book, I was wildly in love, and I was going to say it was like one of the best sci-fi comedies ever. Just this humble butler who just keeps showing up and trying to go to work, and there's never any people around because everyone's dead and society's gone to pot. And all the robots, it's got a little bit of an iRobot Asimov thing with the 3 laws, where the robots are like really trying to do the tasks that they were assigned, but because society has gone to pot, their task list leads to like very bad outcomes, which is fun and interesting. But it got less fun and interesting because basically the plot of the book is this butler robot goes to a place, and then that exact thing I just described happens. He finds a bunch of robots, and they've gone awry, but he thinks that they're still doing good work. And then he realizes that they're trying to solve objectives that no longer make sense, and they're making the world even worse. Oh no! And then he escapes, and then that happens like 5 more times.
Oh, got you. So does that like repetition kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. And the ending I found just like a little dissatisfying. In its own right. So anyway, it started off with such a bang. It's really fun though. If you want a funny sci-fi book, like check it out. And I heard a lot of people say they were worried it was going to be too similar to Murderbot, and it's not. It's very different. I mean, they both are about self-aware robots who, but the tone is very different. The style is very different. I don't think you'll find a derivative at all.
Okay, where do you think it chalks up to other Adrians?
I think.
Is it super different, or is it just like a little?
Really
he's just
different.
taken a little bit of okay.
No, it's really different. Yeah, I liked it. I think he did something really like he stepped outside his comfort zone. He wrote something different. Yeah, I really liked it. I think it might be my second favorite Tchaikovsky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And I'm glad it's like different flavor too. It's kind of fun that he could bounce into something else and then make it good, because the other one on this list is incredibly serious and more kind of classic. Yes. Adrian. But before we do that, we wanted to talk about some other books that we loved from 2024, because we did that last year and it was kind of a fun thing. I feel like a lot
stuff
of
that
people
didn't get nominated for awards, but like is good. Better than some of the stuff on this list. Definitely better than a lot of the stuff on the Nebula list. Like here's some other good stuff you might like.
Yeah, exactly. New stuff. The first one is Plastic by Scott Guild, which is I don't want to give too much of it away by summarizing it incorrectly, but essentially this woman, Erin, is in a plastic body and she lives in a kind of normal American suburb. And then there's a terror attack that she survives with another plastic person. And they sort of become bonded through that. And the novel is a really great world building about technology, how much it feels very real. You're almost not sure if the plastic is literal or a metaphor. And it's just about technology encroaching on our lives, and making us lonelier, and how we try to maintain connections through all of the subscriptions we have and all of the ways that technology control our lives. And yet it's kind of a hyper futuristic world where climate change has gone crazy and there's environmental terrorism, whatever. So it has some kind of stakes and interest there too, but it's really more literary fiction about characters living in a slightly forward future from our own. And it's really well done. Super literary novel. I loved it.
As I was saying that, I just realized of the 4 bonus books we have for you, Cody picked to talk about the 2 very literary ones. He wants you to know he's the high-minded one. And I'm... but I will tell you about the new James S. A. Corey book. The guys who wrote The Expanse have a new series that they've started as of last year. The first book is out, called The Mercy of Gods. And it is about... the humans aren't on Earth. They're on another planet, but they get invaded by an alien species. And as would actually happen if somebody crossed the stars, unlike Independence Day that I watched on the 4th of July this year, we would have absolutely no chance. If you can cross the stars, obviously you could immediately crush us, and they do. And so they end up getting abducted by these aliens and having to figure some things out. It's really interesting. I didn't like it quite as much as The Expanse, but they're just very strong writers, really compelling, super fun. I'm definitely going to read the rest of the series. I'm really curious to find out what happens. And you know what's actually interesting? I'm realizing it's been a while now since we read that one. And we have a whole episode about it. If you're more curious about this book, go check it out. We have a whole episode about this one. It's kind of like grown on me over time. Like, thinking some books kind of stick with you. I'm like kind of more fond of it than I was immediately after finishing, which is interesting.
I was fond of it immediately, and it grew on me. I'm curious. I obviously got to see where the series goes, but I wouldn't be surprised if I ended up liking the series more than The Expanse, based on the first book. Just from the subject matter, it's different, right? We're not in our solar system. We're humans elsewhere, and we're very decentered, which is is my favorite.
For
and
sure.
Also, I love the heroes, the protagonists being researchers, instead of, space pirates, fighters, whatever, the traditional thing.
For sure. Well, as you are a literary man of the sciences, what's our next high concept novel to tell everyone about?
Which is funny you rib me on this, because you actually like this book a lot more than I do. I just remember it better, so I'll talk. That's Orbital by Samantha Harvey, which won, can you look it up while I'm talking? It won something else in the lit world realm, because I actually heard about this book from my sister, who reads more of that kind of stuff, like the Pulitzer. She's the literary
it won the Booker Prize, dude.
Won the Booker Prize. There you go. Yeah, incredible. It's more of a novella, maybe. It's slightly shorter. I'm surprised it gets to be called a novel. But it's almost like a poem. It's essentially a poem about astronauts on the International Space Station, though it's not. Is it called that in the novel? I can't remember if it's slightly fictionalized.
I don't remember.
Beyond.
But it so clearly is. There's cosmonauts on it, and like the right number of Americans and Japanese. Yeah, anyway.
And I guess I would summarize it in shortly as kind of a poem that makes you feel the overview effect, like astronauts do, which is the effect where you see the world all at once and you see the interconnectedness and how alone we are in space, and feel differently about humanity and the borders we create and the problems we create with each other, etc. But it is really beautifully written. It just follows all these little astronauts and their little stories, semi-stream of consciousness. It's just a beautiful experience, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. It also puts you in like the shoes. There's all that beautiful high concept stuff, but there's also like a lot of mundane, like this is what it's like to actually be an astronaut on the ISS day to day, about how they like what they eat and changing their clothes and brushing their teeth. And that I really liked. It more than anything else I've experienced in my life. It made me feel like maybe I could understand a tiny bit of what it's like to actually be an astronaut.
Exactly. I think, like I said, you liked it more than I did. My only knock on it wasn't really even a knock. It was more like, having read so much science fiction, I felt like I've already gone through that experience a few times with different novels that were powerful to me in communicating that effect. And so it didn't feel, I guess maybe it was more of a gatekeepery feeling of like, I was irked that so many people were talking about it and it won the Booker. And everyone was like, "This, can you believe this?" And I was like, "Read more science fiction, then, people. There's so much great stuff out there. If you liked this, so maybe it was great." And I just had a little chip on my shoulder about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, also like sort of kind of nothing happens and there's no plot, and like so that's a downside. But it's very short, so that's okay.
Yeah, but that didn't seem to matter. Lastly
is The Book of Elsewhere by Keanu Reeves. and also China Mieville, Cody's favorite.
Yeah.
So this is basically a novelization of their. Is it just Keanu Reeves who writes Berserk, the comic book series, or do they also write that together? We don't know.
I don't.
But in any
I'm
case,
looking
it's a
up while you do it.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So it's a novelization, and it's about a warrior who is immortal. And anytime he's extremely hard to kill, he's been alive for like 60,000 years. And anytime he is killed, he sort of like agglomerates into this egg and is reborn. So he literally cannot be killed. His name is Unate. And there's sort of two timelines. There's a timeline that shows his distant past, and it's very myth-like, and it's a bunch of things that happened to him over his 60,000 year life, seeing like early hominids early humans and all this crazy stuff that he saw throughout time. And then there's a modern story where some bad guys are trying to do some bad stuff. Anyway, I really liked the myth stuff in the past, but I didn't like the stuff in the present nearly as much. As kind of convoluted. I still definitely liked the book, but it's gotten really panned by critics, and I don't really understand why. I thought it was really entertaining and quite interesting. I mean, it's not my favorite China Mieville book. It's maybe my least favorite, but they're all so good that's like, it's still quite good. Anyway.
Yeah. It's like this list. Quick point of order. Keanu Reeves and Matt Kint were the comic series or the graphic novel series.
Okay, so Mieville just came in to novelize it.
Okay. Which I thought you did a great job of, like he always does. Like you said, I'm not sure it's my favorite Mieville either, but I gave it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good, and it had some thought-provoking stuff about, the immortal warrior thing that was interesting, had good mysteries, good action.
My biggest gripe is like, we shouldn't talk too much about this because we're verging on spoilery, but like the big bad guy, I thought got introduced way too late, and it made him feel kind of out of left field. And I was like, what is this person? What's the deal with them? Anyway, so maybe we can talk about that on the Discord.
Do you think that the issue could be like a lot of fans of the graphic novels being like, well, this isn't a graphic novel, I love the graphic novel. And then a lot of people who were into like China Mieville or something were like, this isn't a book that I was looking for. It's not as much book stuff as I don't know. I don't know where the issue came, but I was surprised that people didn't like it.
Me too. Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's a good bet. We want to give one final shout out to this episode's sponsor, Doppelgänger by Chip Walter. It's a futuristic murder mystery where the victim and detective are the same person. Fans of Altered Carbon or Neuromancer, this one's for you. William Shatner says impressive and quite a ride. Check out Doppelgänger at chipwalter.com.
Okay, number 2. What's it going to be? It's going to be Alien Clay by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Sorry, Adrian, I want you to win a Hugo so badly, but not quite as much as the other one at number 1. Anyways, Alien Clay, fantastic novel. I loved it. 14 hours on audiobook, 432 pages. And the short summary goes as follows. On the distant world of Kiln lie the ruins of an alien civilization. It's the greatest discovery in humanity's spacefaring history. Yet, who were its builders and where did they go? Professor Arton Dagdev has always wanted to study alien life up close. Then his wishes become a reality in the worst way. His political activism sees him exiled from Earth to Kiln's extrasolar labor camp. There, he's condemned to work under an alien sky until he dies. I mean, this book is half about authoritarianism and what's the word, censorship by authoritarian systems of government, reimagined as,
and like
space,
brutal jackboot, just relentless kicking of faces if you resist at all. It's the worst kind of dictatorship. The Mandate sucks.
Absolutely. And it plays super believably. Like I thought in the beginning of the novel, it was a little too close to home, I think, or like just realistic, that it can kind of be, it was a little bit terrifying. Like these academics having to live underground, they couldn't trust each other. Even before they were sent to these prison colonies on planets far away to live out the rest of their days. And it was really, really well done. And then also you have classic Adrian biology of alien life. One of the better alien life that I've read in a novel ever. Leave it to Adrian. And then the back half of the novel is a little more like out in the wilds of the planet and getting to know that stuff.
Yeah, you learn way more details about both the biology and the revolution at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. I loved the voice at the beginning. You get this history of the planet told all from this first person perspective. Arton is the narrator thinking back on like his time on the planet and how he got sent here and what he's going to do now. And he's going to live in this prison. You did not like that.
No, I actually like kind of didn't like the first 2/3 until we get to the climax at the end, because the narration, so it's first person told in journal style, but it also has like no dialogue. So I just found it really slow, and stuff that could have been exciting, I felt like was made unexciting by the narrative style. So yeah, it definitely knocked like some points off for me. It was not, didn't speak to me for some reason.
That's so funny.
The no dialogue is a big part of it. You should have dialogue. It makes your characters real. All the characters I felt like were just like interchangeable glop.
But it was
just
interspliced with dialogue of him in the camp on Kiln,
so little dialogue.
I didn't mind it. I guess maybe like time travel, you mind it if you mind it, because I know what you're talking about, and I could think of a lot of examples of where I'm like, yeah, it was terrible. But I think I was just interested enough in this story and the way he was building this the authoritarian kind of 1984 empire on Earth, and how realistic and well done he did that. I was just enthralled by it, so I didn't notice the lack of dialogue as much. And I really liked the end still, but I actually didn't love the like back part of the novel as much as I liked the front part. So
that's interesting.
That's bizarre. That's a weird clash for you and I.
Well, we've heard that from some early comments on the Discord. It seems like that's happening. There's people, nobody has so far said like, yes, I like this book all the way through. People are, they're like, yeah, I like the first bit or the end bit. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think there are a lot of people. Oh, yeah. I think most people are saying I liked the whole thing, but I liked this better than.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was that many people who were like, hated this, loved this.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll remains to be seen.
Yeah. Come debate with us on Discord if you want to.
Yeah. That's why it couldn't quite get the number one spot for us, because
The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett is
perfect.
So good. Yeah. Okay. So it's 432 pages, 11 hours and 50 minutes on audiobook. In Daratana's greatest mansion, a high imperial officer lays dead, killed to all appearances, when a tree erupted from his body. Even here at the Empire's borders, where contagions abound and the blood of the Leviathans works strange magical changes, it's a death both terrifying and impossible. Assigned to investigate is Anna Delabra, a detective whose reputation for brilliance is matched only by her eccentricities. Rumor has it that she wears a blindfold at all times, and that she can solve impossible cases without even stepping outside the walls of her home. What's interesting about that summary is it doesn't even mention the main character, which is her assistant. You don't even meet Anna for a while. But I thought the detective story is incredibly well done. The world is insanely alluring. Oh, this is a fantasy book that we are both deeply in love with. It's the world has all these. You can like change your body with these like tinctures and like combining elements alchemically, and then it like alters your own body permanently. And there's all these like strange perfumes, and everything is kind of like a fetid jungle where everything grows. And then there's these enormous seawalls to defend them from kaiju attacks that come every wet season. And so they have to, the whole empire is built around people trying to survive like 200-foot tall monsters attacking them every year. It's awesome. It's such an engrossing world. It all feels like it fits together. I really can't say enough good stuff about this.
And there's so much extra stuff beyond that too that you didn't even mention that I thought was really cool. Like the way that the magic works in this world is very technological. It's well explained. It comes from like deriving all these this crazy plant life they have in the world to do specific things, to like function as, machines. Like Dinius is basically Anna's computer, right? He goes to places and he records things for her and listens to them and describes a scene. He's almost like her like,
his superpower is like his memory.
Yeah, his perfect recall. So he's essentially a computer for Anna, so she can stay at home and think about and synthesize the information that he comes up with. And it also helps in other cool ways. And the various powers that people have are largely derived from things that are explained and in cool ways. And so it feels like one of those fantasy, I guess you'd say like hard magic system, where it feels like technology just from a different world and a different basis of physics and available biology, etc. But mainly, I mean, that the mystery is just incredible.
And the characters are so good. Din and Anna are both amazing. The other characters who I'm forgetting their jobs, but I remember their relation to the main character, which I shouldn't have. Anyway, I don't want to spoil anything. All the characters are so good. The bad guys are great. It's just awesome. It's so fun. And it does a bunch of things that are very in vogue right now in books that we're like all trying to do, but it's not hitting you over the head with them. It just does them so well. They fit in seamlessly with the narrative. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's something that teaches you a lot about the human condition and
and about other people.
Yeah, and in a natural way that you don't even realize until after. You're like, wait.
Oh, it develops my empathy? God forbid.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect literature in a shell that is just such a fun novel. And he's writing more. Is that correct? Isn't there already one out?
Second book's already out. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to read that because the world he's created left so much to go towards. You know,
I'm like scared of reading it, honestly, because this book is so good. There's no way the next one's going to be as good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
but I'm going to be so beyond excited. But I just like this is so
but there's
good.
a lot. You know, it could get a lot bigger. There's a lot of places for it to go.
That's true.
Anyways, I loved Dinius and Anna, classic characters I'll always remember. Like, just such a good novel. So that's what we think should take the cake at the
If it
Hugos.
doesn't, I will eat a hat. I
have to figure out what kind of hat
I'll have
you
to
can
like
ingest.
cut it in like really small pieces, I guess. Anyway, but I'm not gonna have to figure that out because it's gonna win. I'm so sure it's the best.
For sure. That about wraps it up. That's 10 novels, 6 on the Hugo's nominees list, and then 4 that we just love from 2024. So hopefully that some of that inspires your reading lists.
For sure. Well, this was so fun as always, and I'll see you next time for the culture.
All right, peace.